Before apps, online businesses, freelancing, and digital side hustles, Americans built wealth in ways most younger generations barely remember. There was a time when ordinary families built stable incomes through local businesses, recurring delivery routes, repair services, and neighborhood trust. Many of these systems disappeared with technology, supermarkets, mass production, and eventually the internet. But for decades, they helped build the American middle class. Here are 20 forgotten ways Americans built wealth before the internet age. Long before online shopping and passive income gurus, wealth was built differently. Success often depended on consistency, community reputation, and providing real value locally. Some of these opportunities may seem simple by modern standards, but for millions of Americans, they were real paths toward financial stability. For much of the 20th century, newspapers were one of the most important parts of daily American life. Families relied on daily newspapers for politics, local events, sports, and business updates. This created thousands of delivery routes across the country. Teenagers often woke up before sunrise to deliver newspapers by bicycle or on foot. They earned money through route payments, tips, and customer retention. For many young Americans, this was their first lesson in responsibility and business discipline. Before online ads, e-commerce, and shopping malls, products often came directly to the customer. Traveling salesmen and commission-based sellers offered products like vacuum cleaners, brushes, cookware, encyclopedias, and insurance. A skilled salesman could build an impressive income simply through persuasion and consistency. This model became deeply embedded in American commerce throughout the early and mid-20th century. After World War II, America experienced suburban growth, rising car ownership, and a growing middle class. These created ideal conditions for diners and small family restaurants. These businesses often relied on family labor, reducing staffing costs and increasing profitability. Local diners became more than restaurants. They became community hubs. Many families built stable, multi-generational income through food businesses like these. Before fast fashion and cheap imported products, people repaired what they owned. Shoes were expensive investments and often designed to last years. Local cobblers and repair shops provided essential maintenance services. Because customers returned repeatedly, these businesses benefited from recurring local demand. Small repair shops represented a slower, less disposable economy. Before large supermarkets and widespread household refrigeration, milk delivery was essential. Milkmen delivered milk, cream, butter, eggs, and other dairy products directly to homes. Customers often subscribed to regular deliveries. This created predictable, recurring revenue long before subscription businesses existed online. Milk routes became valuable business assets in many American neighborhoods. These first 5 methods all had one thing in common: recurring trust. Americans didn't just buy products, they built long-term local relationships, and that trust itself became economic value. For generations, barbershops were far more than places to get a haircut. In towns across America, the local barbershop served as a business, a meeting point, and an informal social hub. Customers returned regularly, creating one of the most reliable recurring revenue models in small-town America. Many shops were independently owned, often operated by a single proprietor or family. A loyal customer base could sustain a barber for decades. Long before recycling became a modern industry, scrap collection was already an income source. Americans collected discarded metal from farms, factories, railroads, construction sites, and households. Copper, steel, iron, and aluminum all had resale value. During periods like the Great Depression and wartime economies, scrap collection became even more economically relevant. For many working-class Americans, this was low-barrier income, requiring little upfront capital. Before mass-produced fast fashion dominated retail, clothing was more expensive, more durable, and often repaired or adjusted rather than replaced. Tailors and seamstresses played an essential role in daily American life. They created custom garments, repaired worn clothing, resized suits, and altered dresses. This created repeat business and strong customer loyalty. In many immigrant communities, tailoring also served as a pathway toward entrepreneurship and financial independence. Long before short-term rental platforms and digital marketplaces, Americans monetized unused space the old-fashioned way. Families rented spare bedrooms, basement units, or guest rooms to travelers, workers, students, or new residents. This was especially common during urban expansion and industrial growth. Boarding houses and room rentals became practical solutions for both landlords and renters. For homeowners, this created monthly cash flow using assets they already owned. Mechanical watches were once valuable everyday essentials. Before disposable electronics and cheap imports, watches were built to last and worth repairing. Watch repair shops specialized in cleaning, maintenance, replacement parts, and precision adjustments. Because watchmaking required technical skill, it created a defensible small business niche. Many repair professionals were self-employed or partnered with jewelry retailers. These next opportunities reveal a pattern modern audiences often forget. Many wealth-building methods were built on practical services, recurring local demand, and skills people genuinely needed. Not viral attention, not algorithms, just utility. Before nationwide grocery chains and industrial agriculture dominated food distribution, many American families earned income directly from their land. Farmers sold vegetables, fruit, eggs, milk, meat, jams, and seasonal products through roadside stands, town markets, and direct local sales. This direct-to-consumer model allowed families to keep more profit instead of relying entirely on wholesalers. For many households, selling excess produce was not just supplemental income, it was financial survival. Long before supermarkets became dominant, neighborhood grocery stores were essential parts of American life. These stores sold dry goods, canned food, bread, sugar, flour, produce, and household staples. Unlike modern retail chains, many operated on trust-based systems. Customers could often buy on credit and pay later, especially in rural communities. Family labor kept costs lower and profits within the household. Before large industrial food brands dominated shelves, home baking was a legitimate business model. Families baked bread, pies, cakes, cookies, and pastries from home kitchens. Products were sold to neighbors, local stores, churches, markets, and community events. In immigrant communities especially, baking often served as a first business opportunity. What began as homemade necessity often evolved into scalable local enterprise. Before email, cloud storage, and home printers, printed materials were essential for business and daily life. Small print shops produced business cards, flyers, newspapers, invitations, receipts, menus, church materials, and advertisements. Every local business needed printed assets. This created recurring business demand decades before digital marketing existed. As automobile ownership exploded in the 20th century, so did demand for maintenance and repairs. Cars required regular servicing, replacement parts, diagnostics, oil changes, brake work, and engine repairs. Independent mechanics and family garages became essential businesses in nearly every American town. Unlike trend-based businesses, car repair was driven by necessity. By now, a pattern is becoming clear. Before digital business models, wealth was often built through boring but dependable systems: local demand, repeat customers, practical skills, community trust. Before television, radio dominance, and the internet, newspapers were one of the most powerful local businesses in America. Small-town newspapers generated revenue through subscriptions, classified ads, local advertising, and public notices. Many were family-owned operations passed down through generations. Before mass-produced disposable furniture became common, Americans invested in quality pieces built to last. Tables, cabinets, dressers, rocking chairs, and desks were routinely repaired and refinished rather than thrown away. Furniture restoration required craftsmanship, patience, and technical skill. Before smartphones and automation, telecommunications created entire job categories and local service opportunities. Telephone operators manually connected calls, managed switchboards, and supported communication infrastructure. Installation, maintenance, and line servicing also created steady technical employment. Long before giant retail chains dominated the market, independent hardware stores were pillars of American towns. They sold tools, nails, plumbing supplies, paint, electrical materials, home repair products, and practical essentials. These stores served homeowners, builders, farmers, and contractors. Before large-scale digital banking and national credit systems, borrowing was often far more local. Communities relied on small banks, personal lenders, local business owners, and informal trust networks. Borrowing money often depended as much on reputation as financial paperwork. Trust was currency. Looking back, these forgotten systems reveal something deeper than nostalgia. Before the internet, Americans often built wealth through practical value, repetition, and
Cutting
trust.
hair to fit a specific personality is what makes the difference between a hair cutter and an artist.
Delivered what was needed. Many of these methods were not glamorous. They were often slow, ordinary, and deeply unremarkable. But over time, they built something modern culture often underestimates: stability. Not every forgotten business model should return.
It is amazing how happy a boy can look after a haircut, especially as soon as he steps down from the barber chair.
Skill.
To most of us, when we are young, haircuts seem
Long
pretty
before
useless,
algorithms
since the
decided
hair
what
will
people saw,
always just grow
local
back
businesses
again.
built
For
America,
some of us anyway.
one customer at a time.
But when you're on your way to
Maybe
meet your
that
best
is what
girl,
many people miss
it's worth
most.
all the trouble.
If you enjoyed this journey through forgotten American wealth building methods, subscribe for more business history, financial storytelling, and old school money lessons. Because sometimes the future makes more sense when you understand the past.